Hey, this is Greg Cassetti. We're here at JTech in Jacksonville, Florida, up underneath a truck on the lift right now. What we're going to be doing is a under vehicle inspection. We're going to take you through different portions of the underbelly of this truck. We're going to show you what you need to be looking for, different things like that while you're doing a PMI. So spin the camera around and start checking it all out. Alright, so when you're in the underbelly of a truck, you're going to be spending a good amount of time here looking around. We got a list of components that we're going to take you through, but want to let you know that during the course of a good PMI, this portion alone can take a fair bit of time. An experienced PMI inspector, you'll probably spend about 30 minutes, possibly even an hour under here, depending upon the quality of the truck. So we're going to go ahead and start taking you through some of these components. Right now, we're right here with the engine. As you can see, that's the oil pan. And then we're here at the transmission. While you're right here, an important thing to look at is going to be your transmission mounts, the bolts all the way around. You want to reach up there too and check them all the way around. You're going to look for the transmission mounts. You can see right there. You want to double check that they're in good shape. The rubber's not split or cracking. As you can see, we got a split in that rubber right there. All the way around. Make sure both sides are good, that they have hardware. Gonna come under this jack in front of us, and we're gonna get up under here, and we can see here's our engine mounts. We're gonna double check the rubber on those. While we're right here in the engine area, we're gonna be looking for any kind of leaks, oil, coolant, things of that nature. And we can see right here, we got a little bit of water, a little bit of coolant coming out. That fitting probably needs to be taken out and replaced with either a proper one or doped up and put back in there. We do have a list of components I can run down, but while we're in the area, we want to take advantage of every opportunity. So we're going to look at our steering, our suspension, the bushings, the fasteners. We're going to make sure there's no cracks, anything like that. We're going to come under here, make sure our U-bolts on both sides are tight, make sure our guide pin hasn't sheared and we've got canting. Check out our shock, make sure it's not leaking. Right here we're at the brake components. Double check that brake chamber, check its stroke, check out that slack adjuster, see if it's loose on there. We got a kingpin right here that we would check while the truck is lifted but on the ground. You want to shake that around, see if you got any play on it. Grease both top and bottom while it's up in the air. And there's our brake shoes and our drum. It's got a wear indicator on it, but you can also use a lining tool to double check how thick it is. You're also going to check tread depth of your tire. Greasable components right here, and the other side of this axle are going to be both sides of the kingpin, top and bottom. It's going to be your slack adjuster, and it's going to be your tie rod end back there that you can see. Let me get my finger in the shot right there. That guy. Check out the axle. We'll do the same kind of checks over here. Checking our shoe lining thickness, checking our brake drums, checking the brake chamber, slack adjuster. And then we also have the drag link right here above our head, connected to the pitman arm. We would check those out, check out the bushing in there, ball joint. Check out the castle nut. Make sure it's A-OK. The clevis pin, or cotter pin, excuse me. We grease both sides of this. Like I said, engine side, we would check for leaks, especially around the fuel and oil filters. That's a common leaking area. Any coolant piping, things like that. So we'll go back to the other side of this lift. Alright, now that we're back here by the transmission again, we're going to check different sensors that are in there. We're going to check other covers. We would also want to check out through our drive line and shake different portions of it to make sure everything's okay. Let me put this paper down real quick. Got a fan on me and I don't want to blow it away. One thing that happens a lot in drive lines is they shake loose. You want to put your hand on different components and give them a good shake test. You don't want any play in those U joints. You want to make sure that you have bolt or a nut fastening the yokes to different components all the way down your drive line. Need to check your air tanks, see if you got any moisture coming out, air lines attached to them. Checking your frame rail too, see if there are any cracks, any loose fasteners for your cross members. Different air valves and air components, make sure they're not leaking. Speaking of leaking, we can see we got a little bit of a fuel leak going on here at the tank. You can tell by all that black coming down. But this side we're A-okay. Don't really see too much issue there. And again, coming back, check out your DPF and your exhaust clamps, piping, things like that. You know, if everything looks good and it's cold enough, put your hand on it, double check that guy, make sure it's not shifting around inside the clamps. Coming back to your center bearing, again, you want to make sure you got a fastener in there. You want to shake test everything. No play in the center bearing, no play in the U-joint. There we go. Looks like we got a glad hand hanging down. That probably need to be put back up on top side of the truck. Again, checking the drive line all the way down. Same thing, fastener, play in the U-joint, play in the fastener. You want to check your differential and through drives for leaks, any fluid you see coming out. And then as long as that is A-okay, we will pop the fill hole, fill cap, and we'll top off the fluid in it. Make sure that it is level with the fill hole when coming out. Again, while we're back here at axle number 2, check out these shocks. Make sure they're not leaking. Check your fasteners for axle number 2. Make sure nothing is loose. Then we're gonna check our brake stroke. We're gonna check out our brake chambers, our slack adjuster, all the hardware associated with it. On these slack adjusters, pay special attention to that timing pin. And then we've also got our brake shoes that we need to take a look at, make sure they're in the correct depth. There are tools to slide in there, but as we can see, we also have this wear indicator on the shoe material itself, so we know we're good. We don't have an exact measurement at this time, but we know they're A-okay. Check your bushings on your suspension. These can be timely repairs, but they're worth it to make sure the truck tracks and drives smoothly. Same thing on the other side, bushings, fasteners, all the way around. Chamber, stroke, slack adjuster, and then shoe lining thickness. This truck does have airbags on it, so we want to check to make sure that they're not cracked, leaking. You'll also want to double check your leveling valve whenever you locate it on the vehicle. We're going to go back to axle number 3 now. Again, bushings on the suspension. You can shake test a lot of this with your hands, even if the bushings look good. Sometimes they got too much play in them. There you go, checking that shoe. We would check our slack adjuster, we would check our brake stroke, and we'd also check the brake chamber, make sure everything is A-okay. Again, for the last portions of the drive line, shake test everything, make sure there's fasteners in there associated with the yokes. That way they're tight in there. We also have tracking rods, sometimes called radius rods or thrust rods. You want to put your hand on those, you want to shake them around, make sure the bushings in those are good. They help keep your axle in alignment. That goes out, you can start wearing out tires way too quickly. Then we've also got this differential that we're going to double check. You know, check it for leaks as well. Open up your fill hole, make sure that it is coming out of the fill hole level with it. You don't want to do none of this stick your finger in there and, you know, oh yeah, there's fluid down in there. That's not enough. There's your leveling valve. You want to double check that. The other set of airbags, make sure that those aren't leaking down. Punctures, things of that nature. There's the shocks again. You want to double check those. Check all your fasteners associated with this. And then again in the back end, check your frame rails. No cracks, no issues. So, like I said, a lot to be checked under here, a lot to really put your eyes on. Probably about 30 minutes to an hour, depending upon greasing and your experience. But this is a good way of checking the underside. Keep your ears open for air leaks and things of that nature. All right, there you go. That's checking the underside of your truck. There are a lot of things that you should have already done while the truck was on the ground. you know, such as checking transmission fluid level and things like that that are easier to access from the top side. But that'll do it. Thanks for watching my video. Have a good one.